The eastern gray squirrel is a common resident of the eastern deciduous forests and spends most of its time foraging on the forest floor for nuts and berries. These rodents are an important prey species for raptors such as broad-winged hawks and red-tailed hawks. They're also preyed upon by bobcats. When frightened, squirrels will quickly flick their tail and make a barking call to warn others in the area of potential danger. Squirrels hoard food in caches and have a very good memory for where they've hidden things. They also build nests called drays, which may be in the branches of trees or perhaps inside a hollow tree. This squirrel lives fairly close to this little spot in the woods because we've seen it in prior videos that we've captured from this trail camera. This white-tailed deer doe has recently given birth. While her fawn is small and vulnerable, a lot of time is spent taking care of it. But raising a fawn requires a lot of energy, so she leaves it for a little while to eat and get water for herself, never staying away from her fawn for too long. Her fawn lies motionless in a nearby thicket, protected by the camouflage of its spots and its lack of external scent, making it virtually invisible to any predators that might be nearby. Once the fawn gets strong enough to be able to move quickly, Mom begins taking it out on exploratory trips. Sometimes, when predators are in the area, quick movement might be necessary, especially when there's a coyote in the area who would love to eat a young fawn. As the little deer continues to grow in size, its confidence grows as well. Following Mom's cautious example, the fawn learns what to eat, the importance of stopping and listening, sniffing the air for predators, and basically learning how to be a white-tailed deer. We can see that our fawn is getting stronger by the day, but all that growing comes with a cost. It takes a lot of calories to follow Mom around. The fawn still needs milk, so occasionally Mom has to stop to allow her fawn to feed. She also will take some time to lick it and mark it with her scent. During this time, the fawn learns the sounds of its mother's grunts and wheezes, and the doe knows the sounds of her fawn's bleats, so that as the fawn grows and wanders farther away from Mom, it will recognize when she calls, and vice versa. Each new day is a new adventure for the young fawn as it follows closely behind its mother. A brief stop for Mom to eat stirs the curiosity of the young fawn as it takes in the bright world that surrounds it. As we continue to follow our little family, Mom is constantly on the lookout for predators or unwanted visitors. Her fawn is starting to get a little bigger, and its curiosity begins to grow as well. As the fawn becomes more comfortable with its environment, as long as Mom is within sight, it knows that it can wander around and see new things. Perhaps a beetle crawling up a log, or a squirrel sniffing around in the leaves. So many things to explore and understand, and everything forms a new mental picture in the fawn's brain as it experiences the world around it. As we continue to watch the fawn, we can see how it's learning, mirroring the behavior of its mom. Occasionally, we might see the fawn scampering around as it finds something that excites it, or perhaps even gives it a bit of a fright. But all the while, Mom is there to make sure the young deer stays out of trouble and never gets too far away from her watchful eye. As you can see here, sometimes when you're exploring the world, it's easy to lose track of Mom. Not unlike a child in a department store that gets separated from its mother, this fawn, knowing that safety means being with its mother, may have the occasional moments of panic when Mom gets a little too far away. As time goes by, the fawn will gain more and more independence, and Mom will begin to withdraw more frequently so that the fawn has to find her, helping the fawn become more confident in being alone, as well as teaching it how to be cautious and to be alert at all times. As we move further into summer and fall, the fawn will get bigger and smarter, and we'll continue to watch with interest as it visits the camera site. After a fawn has made it through its first year, it loses its spots and begins to grow its first set of antlers. Antler growth begins in the spring, and by the middle of summer, points start to become prominent. A young buck in his first year of antler growth will be either a spike, which is just a pair of single pointed antlers, or they may have 3 or 4 points, and the antlers may not be perfectly symmetrical. By the time young bucks reach 2 years of age, their racks begin to get larger, and they start adding more points. A 2-year-old buck could have as many as 8 or 10 points if the deer is healthy and getting lots of the key nutrients it needs for antler growth. At this age, the antler spread may not quite extend out beyond the ears, but the beam tips may be close to reaching the tip of the nose in terms of their length. Each year for the next 2 to 3 years, the buck will add mass and maybe additional points to his antlers. His neck will get thicker and his body will fill out and get more muscular. During the summer months, bucks will hang around in bachelor groups. These bachelor groups may consist of as many as 10 bucks that ironically are probably related to each other in some way. Some may actually have the same mother and father but are separated by a generation, or were twins. Others in the group may have moms that are sisters, making them cousins to each other. The dominant buck in an area will usually seek out a doe that it has mated with in the past, but may mate with additional does within its home range. When autumn arrives, the bachelor party comes to an end, as the rut begins and these bucks begin competing not only with each other for does, but also with older dominant bucks in the home range. These bucks will spend the early part of the rut engaged in light combat with each other, but as time passes, their behavior towards each other may become more aggressive, particularly as a buck works to prevent another buck from mating with his doe. Young bucks can get injured by larger, stronger bucks during combat, and a good beatdown can move bucks into new areas to seek does that haven't been bred. If these younger bucks survive the hunting season, they will successfully mate with a receptive doe and keep the gene pool rich and healthy. Once the rut is over, the bucks will find each other again and go back to hanging out in their bachelor group. The Virginia possum is the only marsupial found in North America. A marsupial is an animal that carries its young in a pouch, similar to a kangaroo or a koala. Possums are good to have around because they eat things that most other animals won't, such as dead stuff and waste. This is why they often get hit by cars on roads, because they're eating food scraps that have been thrown out of car windows. Possums are immune to snake venom, and they're also one of the few mammals who don't typically get rabies because of their low body temperature. This fast-moving rabbit is the eastern cottontail. It is the only rabbit species found in our woods. Cottontails are strict vegetarians, and when not hanging out in grassy forest edges, will browse fleshy vines in the forest such as greenbrier or other similar plants. Rabbits are often prey for foxes, coyotes, bobcats, and various raptors. This rabbit frequents this area near the camera and is often seen looking for food here. Raccoons are one of the most adaptable animals on the planet, surviving in various environments, from deep woods to big cities. Raccoons have very flexible fingers which allow them to hold and grasp things very well. This characteristic gives raccoons an advantage when acquiring food, especially food that might be slick, such as fish, crustaceans, snails, and freshwater mussels. While raccoons look cute and cuddly, they can actually be quite dangerous. They are also the chief carrier of rabies in North Carolina. This raccoon wanders through this area pretty frequently. Raccoons are primarily nocturnal, but they will occasionally come out during daylight hours or may be seen around dawn or dusk. Raccoons breed in mid to late winter and will have their kits in the spring. Wood rats are a rather uncommon visitor to the camera area. These nocturnal rodents can get pretty large. They are true pack rats and collect lots of different food and other items that they will keep in their large nests, which are called middens. Coyotes are relative newcomers to eastern forests. Their populations have grown significantly since their arrival in the southern Appalachians around the mid-20th century. These smart and cunning canines are very adaptable, and they prey primarily on rodents, rabbits, baby animals such as fawns, bird eggs, turkey chicks, and so forth. They will eat just about anything they can find. Coyotes are mostly nocturnal, but do occasionally come out during daylight hours as well. On occasion, the camera site gets visited by less common animals, such as this black skunk, who's probably out looking for grubs or a yellow jacket nest to dig up. We also have a pair of bobcats that will stroll through every once in a while, looking for a squirrel or a rabbit. Sometimes a black bear might even pass through as it forages for high-calorie foods that will help fatten it up for the winter months.